Madam President, I have found that the debate here on the floor has been invigorating. I have found it to be educational, not only to the members of this body and this senator in particular, but I think to all Americans. Believe it or not, a lot of the deliberations and the debate and the discussion that we've had on the floor here have been vigorous. They have been sometimes passionate, because this is such an important issue, issues such as the one I just discussed, and they have been sometimes tough. But I must say that I have always tried to be respectful of the views of my colleagues, even though we've had some, especially the senator from Illinois, the distinguished whip of the Democratic Party, who I've engaged in vigorously. But they've always been respectful debate, and I intend to maintain that respect, as I have throughout my career here. But I do not mean that that means I won't be passionate. So I was astonished and taken aback to see a FoxNews.com article that just crossed my desk, titled, "Reid Compares Opponents of Health Care Reform to Supporters of Slavery." Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid took his GOP blasting rhetoric, I'm quoting from the article, to a new level Monday, comparing Republicans who oppose health care reform to lawmakers who clung to the institution of slavery more than a century ago. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid took his GOP blasting rhetoric to a new level Monday, comparing Republicans who oppose health care reform to lawmakers who clung to the institution of slavery more than a century ago. The Nevada Democrat, in a sweeping set of accusations on the Senate floor, also comparing Republicans who oppose health care reform to lawmakers who clung to the institution of slavery more than a century ago. The Nevada Democrat, in a sweeping set of accusations on the Senate floor, also compared health care foes to those who opposed women's suffrage and the civil rights movement, even though it was Senator Strom Thurmond, then a Democrat, who unsuccessfully tried to filibuster the Civil Rights Act of 1957. And it was Republicans who led the charge against slavery. So not only was Senator Reid wrong in his accusations, Senator Reid was also incorrect in who opposed slavery and who supported the Civil Rights Act. But that's not the important point here. The important point here, as the article goes on to say, but Reid argued that Republicans are using the same stalling tactics employed in this pre-Civil War era. Quote, and I quote from the article, who's quoting from Senator Reid, quote, "Instead of joining us on the right side of history, all the Republicans can come up with is slow down, stop everything, let's start over. If you think you've heard these same excuses before, you're right," Reid said on Monday. When this country belatedly recognized the wrongs of slavery, there were those who dug in their heels and said, "Slow down, it's too early, things aren't bad enough," unquote. He continued, "When women spoke up for the right to speak up, they wanted to vote. Some insisted they simply slow down. There will be a better day to do that. Today isn't quite right." He went on to say, quote, "When this body was on the verge of guaranteeing equal civil rights to everyone, regardless of the color of their skin, some senators resorted to the same filibuster threats that we hear today," unquote. That seemed to be a reference to Thurmond's famous 1957 filibuster. The late senator switched parties several years later. Senator Orrin Hatch, Republican Utah, said Reid's remarks were over the top. Quote, "That is extremely offensive," he told Fox News. Quote, "It's language that should never be used, never be used. These days are not here now." Senator Saxby Chambliss, Republican Georgia, suggested Reid was starting to, quote, "crack under the pressure of the health care reform debate," and, quote, "I think it's beneath the dignity of the majority leader Senator Tom Coburn, Republican, Oklahoma, said, "I am personally insulted." So this is a debate which has been spirited. This has been a debate which has been passionate. This has been a debate that I think has been very helpful to the American people. And some of the back and forth that I've seen, I think, has been excellent. It's been excellent debate and discussion. I enjoyed it when the senator from Montana and I had a discussion about various endorsements. I appreciated the fact that Senator Durbin brought my record to light and questioned it. But most importantly, most of the conversation has been about the components of this bill and its impact on the future of America. And so to somehow compare, as this article says, that we who believe firmly in the principles that are being violated by this 2,000-page legislation as compared to people who supported slavery, I would very much appreciate if Senator Reid would come to the floor and, if not apologize, certainly clarify his remarks, that he was not referring to those of us who we believe are doing our Constitution, carrying out and performing our constitutional duties, and that is acting in the best interests of our constituents on an issue that will impact the future of the United States of America for years and years and years. Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that the FoxNews.com article be included in the record at this time.
Without objection.
So, if I could return to my amendment.